could go to Glen Allen next. It could go to Lakeside or Chamberlain. And we just got a new scan that came in. That's where we've been pointing. I should mention Stratford Hills. Used to live in Stratford Hills. But this right here is Chippenham. So if there is something on the ground right now, it's literally right where Chippenham crosses over the James River. And that right there is the Willie Bridge. And the community of Bowsher, I don't think anybody calls it Bowsher anymore, but that gives you the idea. That's Bowsher's Dam right there that you go over on the James River. So this is Huguenot on the south side of the river turning into River Road. And we can see, and 150 is Chippenham. And we can see there's a very, very clear sign that there is some rotation there. If I stand still, Nick, could you query it and see if the winds are still doing the same thing that we were seeing? When we were behind the scenes, we were seeing what's called gate-to-gate shear at 50 miles an hour, and we're still kind of seeing that. So we're not saying this is a category, an EF3 or an EF2, but we are seeing very clear signs of rotation, and there could be wind damage. And Megan, yell at me if you see any more debris or anything like that. But this is very clearly, if it's not on the ground as a tornado, it is a rotating funnel cloud. And so that's correlation coefficient. We would look there to see anything flying up into the air. It tells us how things correlate to each other. Are they all raindrops, or is there some dirt and debris and leaves being lifted up? And we don't see that. But again, it's going right on top of the river as we speak. The National Weather Service just issued a special weather statement on the back end of it, but we're worried about this. Now, this is going into an extremely populated area. All right, the Parham Road is now, I think Parham Road on the west side, it will be on the west side of the circulation. It's going to cut inland, inside of there. So this is Glenside, Horsepen. This is toward the Tuckahoe Elementary and Tuckahoe Middle area, Freeman High School. On the west end of the city of Richmond, near Libyan Grove, these communities all should be taking shelter. It's not this one, although there could be some rotation here. It's this cell right here that is racing. And do we have this, Megan and Nick, at 50 miles an hour?
Yeah.
And Megan, you're good there? Nick, let me know if you want to step in. But this is going to be working its way to the north, and it could make its way to places like Laurel Lakes. It could be to Virginia Center Commons if it holds together. And those communities are right there at 95 and 295. But at the moment, either, and how does it look on Skycam, you guys? Is it still, because we could squarely see, let's talk a little bit about tornadoes in Virginia, which tend to be rain-wrapped tornadoes. And that's what we have here, in that it's not off by itself like you would see in a storm tracking video or anything like this. This is a system that is wrapped in rain, so it might be hard to see. And I'm hoping that the rotation is weakening on us, although it does seem like it's still kind of holding together.
So I'm going to pull up Skycam for us. This is what it looks like. We're basically looking right at that cell that Andrew's been talking about here. It's hard to tell, as Andrew was saying, there is a lot of rain with this area of thunderstorm and potentially tornadic storm. But there is a low cloud there, so it's possible that we could have something trying to extend out of that.
Yeah, and it could be sort of up here. It could be up 500, 1,000 feet and then working its way down. You can see the raindrops flying around. Those are just, I think they're just raindrops, but they seem to be, they're really being blown by, keep in mind the winds at the surface here, even without a tornado, can be today 30 to maybe 40 miles an hour. And things are a whole lot stronger, obviously, just off the ground. And that's what we've been worried about all day, as we've been talking about, that is the potential to pull some of these winds down to the surface. And that right there, that is a potential rotating cell. Nick, you want to step in? I'm going to move the camera real quick. And thankfully, they don't have to change the camera, same height almost. Yeah, that's it right there, right? Potentially. There's the city. We go north of the city.
So this is it right here. This is kind of that cell. If we go back the other direction a little bit, this is that low-hanging cloud. There probably is some mid-level rotation that's a little bit off the ground, and there is some rain coming out of this. That's kind of what you're seeing that's obscuring the bottom of that cloud there. So it's really anywhere here. This, again, looking toward Bon Air, looking toward the river, the James River up toward Parham Road, as Andrew was talking about. That's where we have, or rather Parham Road, that's where we have that potential rotation into the west end of Richmond. We still have that tornado warning in effect until 2:15 for the west end. Basically, for anywhere west of downtown, you want to be in your tornado safe place. Even though we're not seeing that funnel extending all the way to the ground, you want to be in your safe place out of an abundance of caution in West Henrico, western portions of Hanover County, really just that southern fringe of Hanover County, south of the Ashland area, where we have that tornado warning. There's one well-defined area of rotation. That's what we're looking at there on Skycam, just to the west of downtown Richmond. And then there's another little rotation potentially trying to develop back toward the short pump area. But this one, Andrew's pulling up the wind speeds on the gate-to-gate shear, and it's not all that impressive. So there's probably no immediate concern for this second area of rotation. But the one down toward, again, the west end of Richmond, really just pushing into West Henrico now, out toward the Regency Square area. You probably want to be in your safe place here right now. There's really no time left if you're in the west end of Richmond to be down into your basement if you have one. I know a lot of people around here do not have basements, so get into the lowest floor of your house, someplace like a closet. Put as many walls between yourself and the outside as you can as we continue to track this storm off to the north and east. It's going to make its way basically right across central portions of Hanover County within the next 15 to 20 minutes. And we'll see if that rotation holds together. It's not quite as impressive as it was maybe 15 or 20 minutes ago. So that's a bit of good news here. And we haven't, again, seen any sort of rotation touching down to the ground. So we've not seen
over U of R, too, we should say.
Tornado. But Andrew is pointing out that this is right over the University of Richmond. So that gives you a good idea for where it is. And as far as where it's headed right up toward the Kensington Ave area, Crestview, Lakeside. Those are the locations that really need to be in their safe place. Just kind of looking at this, it's becoming a little more diffuse. So we're not seeing that tight rotation couplet that we saw 10 to 15 minutes ago, which is great news. That means the tornado threat may be getting a little bit lower as this storm slides off to the north and east. We're seeing gate-to-gate shear up to 40 miles an hour. That's not a major concern. I mean, we're not seeing a definite signature for a tornado, but until that tornado warning is officially expired by the National Weather Service, out of an abundance of caution, we still want you to be in your safe place if you're on the west end of Richmond, especially out toward the Lakeside area, out toward the Parham Road area, as this storm continues to lift off to the north and east. Have we seen any sort of updates on that tornado warning?
I think the tornado, let me go back, Nick, and we'll do I'll show you, put the warning back on here.
It was in effect until 2:15, so we have about 10 minutes to go if they just let that warning ride all the way until it's supposed to expire.
Right. So what you have there is, maybe explain to people the double warnings there.
Yep, so we have this tornado warning shaded in dark red, and then surrounding that we have a severe thunderstorm warning for the possibility of strong wind gusts that could be up to around 60 miles per hour. So even if you're not getting that tornado touching down, there could be strong winds coming out of the base of the thunderstorm. We call those straight line winds, and that can cause damage even by itself. That can cause tree limbs to come down. That can cause the power to go out. So we continue to track these storms in the west end of Richmond, places like West Henrico. You still want to be in your safe place, even though we're not seeing as well-defined a signature as we were 10 or 15 minutes ago. That's a bit of good news. We still want to be taking this seriously because there is enough spin in the atmosphere that at any point that funnel could potentially drop out of the storm and we could have some sort of potential touchdown. There's still some rotation there, but it's not as impressive as it was about 10 or 15 minutes ago when we first started tracking this tornado warning down toward Chesterfield. I'm not sure if we've seen any sort of reports of any sort of damage, but we continue to track this storm as it makes its way across the West Henrico area, St. Joseph's Villa, up toward the Atlee area pretty soon. You're kind of next in line for the storm.
It is racing. That is, imagine driving, so taking Chippenham Parkway and going 50 miles an hour up Parham Road, and then what this storm has done is it's worked its way inland a little bit. So Glenside, Hilliard, St. Joseph's Villa, this is near Boulevard and the Lakeside area. So Lewis Skinner Botanical Garden, I would hope the people there are taking shelter. We think it's pretty much right there right now. It's just amazing how not amazing, expected. We've been talking about these big winds all day.
Yep.
But
we saw Chamberlain Road pop up there as one of the locations this is close to.
It looks a little less like a tornado that's on the ground, but I don't think we could rule it out yet. And it's such a fast-moving thing that, we're giving you some lead time here. Why don't you give people some lead time here in those? So
it looks like 210 around the Biltmore area, 215 in Ashcake, 220 around the Katy area, and then some other locations there, 228 in Mangohick and Beulahville around 236 as the storm races off to the north and east. These are fast-moving storms today in part because we have so much wind shear or wind energy in the atmosphere just pushing these storms right along. And that means there's not a lot of time for you to go to your safe place. If you're underneath one of these tornado warnings, you really need to be going into shelter as soon as that tornado warning is issued for your location, and just out of an abundance of caution to be safe into the west end of Richmond now. And then pretty soon here, Hanover County, they just extended that tornado warning off to the north and east.
Those are the areas that you were just telling people.
We were just talking about Hanover County, stretching into portions of King William County, and then eventually a little bit farther off to the north and east up toward King and Queen County. So now western Hanover County, as we were talking about, this storm is moving awfully quickly, so you want to be in your safe place now in western Hanover County. We talked about how the rotation is not as well defined as it was earlier, but this storm's also getting a little farther away from the radar site, and that makes it harder to see any potential rotation in there. In fact, in the last couple of scans here, now we're seeing potentially more rotation trying to tighten up again. That may be part of the reason why they extended this tornado warning farther off to the north and east into portions of Hanover County, and then it will continue to move a little bit farther north.
Nick, that's right at 95 and 295, so right at Virginia Center.
Right about to cross I-95. This is not a good time to be traveling. If you're anywhere north or northeast of Richmond, you want to be just staying home right now. Don't try to get on the roads. And if you know anyone who's out on the roads in these areas, you want to get them to safe shelter. We always say when you're in a car, the best thing you can do if a tornado warning is issued is get to a building, because that car does not provide a whole lot of protection from a tornado. If you're really in a rural area and there's no buildings nearby, no restaurants, no gas stations, nowhere where you can go indoors, then you just want to stay in your car, keep the seatbelts on, and get below the windows. Or if there's a ditch, you can potentially try to go into that, but that's not so recommended because now you're putting yourself outside. So again, if you're at home, if you're in these locations that are under a tornado warning, you want to be in your safe place. A basement's the best place to be, but a lot of homes around here don't have basements, so an interior room, someplace like a bathroom, a closet, those are potentially the best places to be if you're under that tornado warning now, which does include portions of Henrico County, the north side of Richmond, and then pretty soon extending into Hanover County. We just had an extension on that tornado warning, which may continue here for another 30 to 45 minutes potentially. So again, that tornado warning, which we just saw there on our screen, extending into Hanover County, portions of King William County as well. And this is what we've been talking about the last couple of days, the potential for strong and severe storms. An isolated tornado, when you have this much wind shear in the atmosphere, can never be ruled out. And we continue to watch that threat as it moves now into Henrico and pretty soon right into Hanover County.
And a quick note about that, the additional tornado warning, it's just a tiny change, but instead of moving to the northeast at 50, it's being tracked to the northeast at 45. And I think that these have, the whole time we've been tracking, Nick, these are still maintained as just radar indicated. Mm-hmm. And even though we saw some signs that maybe there was some debris flying, at the moment we don't have any really hardcore indication that this is on the ground. So I remember when just a few moments ago when we were tracking this, we said, hey, this may continue and work its way, up through Hanover County, up through King William, King and Queen, and portions of Southern Caroline County, and that's where it is right now. Or not, sorry, that's not where it is right now, but that's where it's heading. But if you are near Virginia Center Commons right now, they had me up on camera. I was going to point something out for you. If you were near Virginia Center Commons right now, so this is 95, this is 295. Right in here is Virginia Center Commons. That's basically where the rotation is. It's not just crossing 95, but it's crossing 295. So if you have friends and family in the airport and they're going to be traveling up 295, heading to 95 north, tell them to stay put. Give us at least 15 minutes here. And there's Atlee. So along 95, as 95 goes north, you can split off to 301. If you're splitting off into 301 and going up into Mechanicsville or heading off into Atlee, also that's a do not travel situation. And if you're in Atlee or if you're over in sort of the northern portion of Mechanicsville along 95 and east, so in Hanover County, Mechanicsville would sort of be on the eastern and southern side of 95. We don't think that this system, and let me just double check on that for you. Yeah, this is not a Mechanicsville storm. And Nick and Megan, yell at me if you have a problem with me saying that, because this is eastern Hanover County. In Mechanicsville, this is 33. This is 301. So in here, you're looking relatively safe. But if you're in Atlee, this is a please find your safe space situation. And this is going to be racing up. It's not going to race up 95, thankfully. We think it's going to be sliding to the east of Interstate 95. But it's going to race right up 301 and Route 1 and work its way up toward maybe Doswell could be next. Let's put the warning back on so we can see if is Doswell in that? Yeah, so racing to the east of Doswell. And there's Ashland. Ashland is not in this new tornado warning. But all of the northern and eastern portion, northern and basically western portion of King William County is. So if you're in western King William County, or if you think of yourself as being in the northern portion of King William County, in these villages, Mango Hick, Epworth, Upshaw, Beulahville, Duane, take shelter as we speak. and also in the southern and eastern portions of Caroline County. Potentially near Kings Dominion. I think Kings Dominion is likely in this, because there's Route 30 and there's 301, so Kings Dominion's right in there. And let's go back really quick, and it is still looking, man, look at this new one, guys, back here. Another rotation's working its way to the west of the Swift Creek Reservoir. That's right on top of Fox Creek right now. Let me put the query on that and see what that looks like. Megan, how about we switch positions, or I'll go there, you go here. Does that work? Any thoughts? That new one is a little bit concerning as well. And the National Weather Service did the same thing. They said the best potential here is shifting out of Henrico County, up into Hanover County. And there's a rotation down into Chesterfield as well. You can take me full screen if you want. So there's another rotation there that we're watching. And Megan, it might be a good idea if we could query that one and see how that one is looking. But at 212, it's 215 right now, we basically cleared, Megan's now checking into this one down here. There's another potential little rotation that's on the west side of the Swift Creek Reservoir. And you can see where the blue dot is there. And that's very close to where we initially tracked the one that now is leaving Henrico County and heading up into eastern portions, or central and eastern portions of Hanover County. So I'm in front of the green screen now, if we could, in the booth. There we go, appreciate it. So this is the one that's a tornado warning. Still looks like it's a funnel cloud just off the ground, or it's on the ground. And then there's another cell back there in Chesterfield County we're watching. Megan, are you looking for more down there, farther south and west? And Megan's running the radar right now. Hopefully it looks okay there, but it's boom and boom. And this one wasn't spinning as much, but there's a lot of speed just off the ground here in the atmosphere that we could be tapping into. And we want you to, let's reset where that tornado warning is. Man, that tornado warning is a big one because it's so fast. So Route 30 does this right through King William County. And so if you're taking 33 up into, I think 33 is going to be on the east side of the system. But if you're in Mango Hick, Bagby, this is the northern and sort of farther northern and western sides of King and Queen County. King and Queen County, King William County. So that's now a new severe thunderstorm warning for what we were just telling you we thought maybe was rotating a little bit. That's the one that Megan was tracking down here, west of the Swift Creek Reservoir. So that is going to potentially fill right in behind the areas that we were at before. And if we could get a TMP, it'd be great if we could switch over the prompter so we could tell what we're looking at. But I don't know if we're staffed for that at the moment. But you can see that tornado warning is up here, plus a severe thunderstorm warning. So the same areas we were telling you to take shelter, there's a severe thunderstorm warning. And this isn't just a regular old severe thunderstorm warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that has a potential that it could drop a tornado out of it. That's what happened in the other one, as we had a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado warning layered on top of it. So till 2:45 is when that severe thunderstorm warning, and this one goes, I think, to 2:45 as well. It's a tornado warning that's pushing way off to the north and to the east. So if you are in the city of Richmond, we are feeling pretty good, except for, again, those same areas on the west side of the city. But if you're in the central portion, the financial district, and east, you're looking relatively safe. Eastern Henrico County is looking safe right now. In Mechanicsville, remember we talked about Mechanicsville, there's 360 as it heads up and meets Route 30 up in Central Garage there in King William County. 360 is a relatively good place to be. 301, a very bad place to be in Hanover County. If you're near 301, if you're near Atlee, and I was just at a baseball game with my son over the weekend at Atlee Little League. So right in the Atlee Little League where that facility is, that's a potential rotating funnel cloud or tornado. And as of yet, have we seen anything reporting that this has been confirmed on the ground? I don't think we have.
I'm looking at the weather chat right now, and there's nothing. We do have a couple reports. This was at 2:05, so about 10 minutes ago, a couple reports of wall and funnel clouds with the storm as it moved past Richmond. No sign of a touchdown. That was 10 minutes ago.
Really good. Say that one more time, Nick, for those in the back row.
So for those of you who are listening, we have a couple reports of wall and funnel clouds, which is basically that tornado, but it's off the ground. It's not touching down yet. That was at 2:05, that report coming in from the Mosley area of Chesterfield County.
And that's down that's 360 extended down, by the Metro Richmond Zoo in that area. And, Mosley covers a lot of folks, but that's a really good sign because we can clear as day see there's a funnel cloud. A funnel cloud is basically a tornado that hasn't touched down. We can see it here.
So, Andrew, we just got a brand new message from the National Weather Service. This is in their chat. Hopefully it's okay for me to read this.
Yeah.
But it says that there may be some debris now. It's hard to tell for sure over Hanover County. And the circulation has tightened up.
Okay, and that's this one right here. So again, this is 301. Let's zoom in really quickly. So on the northern side of Henrico County is the Chickahominy River. On the northern side of Hanover County is the Anna River, or the North Anna. And so if you're near the North Anna, and so there's River Road. So the River Road is on the northern portion of Hanover County. This is Ashcake Road. These areas, there's 301. All of these, it's at this point, if you were in the Ashcake area or the Adley area, you should have been finding your shelter. Have you seen, can we look at differential reflectivity and we can see what they can see, Megan? And we'll see if the same thing is.
Yes.
But would it be right in here? So again, this is, so that's a correlation coefficient. Now Megan's going to probably check. Can you check differential reflectivity on that? Yeah, so this is very clearly where it is. Okay, so we think that the circulation is pulling now just to the east of 301 in Atlee. The next thing it'll be doing, there it goes, it's pulling to the east. It'll be crossing River Road, which is on the northern and most eastern portion of Hanover County in the Atlee area. Studley Road's down here. Studley Road is on the south side of this and is not going to be affected, we don't think. But that's going to go right over the, I don't know if it's called the North Anna River right there, or that's going to be working its way down toward the Chesapeake Bay. But this is going to go from, we think, Hanover County shortly into King William County. And that's going to happen very quickly, this thing, and I'll move still so you can track. But it's such a fast thing, our cone isn't working because it's a northeasterly track at 50 miles an hour, or 45 miles an hour. So that'll go into the rural portions of now the far western or northern, depending on how you look at it, portions of King William County, and then potentially King and Queen County. And Caroline County as well, I think, is in the in that tornado watch. But yeah, 50 mile an hour. So these communities in here, so Mango Hick, we've been talking about this sort of the biggest community in there, but Beulahville, which is also in King William County. Then you go up into King and Queen County, and Beasley's kind of right on the line between King and Queen County and Essex. And there's Caroline over there. So these are the communities that need to take shelter. And Nick said he did sort of read a message from one of the meteorologists at the Weather Service that he thought that there was some potential.
Yeah, they
oh
said
my gosh! Yeah, you can see.
for sure.
Did you see the differential reflectivity? I mean, either that's a ton of hail in this, or something's being thrown up in the air.
I'm not seeing anything on correlation coefficient, which is another thing
differential reflectivity, Nick. It's like clear as day. And I would imagine that's probably why they. Let me run over real quick. I'm going to see if I can pull that up on the air. This guy right here. If we look at. Can we do differential reflectivity?
So we have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible. That includes Sussex County until 3 p.m.
All right, let me do this one first, and then we'll drive. I saved that as a new element, so it's right there. So this is, the label's wrong on this. This is what the Weather Service was saying. Differential reflectivity, long story short, is if you threw a raindrop up, it would look a lot different in the air than a piece of dirt or a leaf. And these are the kind of things that are, there's something thrown up into the air here. So that gives us a really strong sign that if there's not a touchdown of that tornado in the Atlee area, near the river, getting ready to cross over the river, then it's close. And this as well. Now, it could be raindrops flying in different directions or different size raindrops or melting hailstones as well. But that area we're watching as well, this is Robius Road extended. That's a potential rotation that we've been watching. And that one's going to be working its way into some of the same areas we were talking and they just issued a tornado warning.
Yep. So that's for Chesterfield. The same locations that were under a warning a little bit earlier. Now we have a second circulation that is developed in Chesterfield County. Andrew was talking about that a few minutes ago.
Exactly the same spot.
Yep.
So now what you have is the lead tornado riding along this, this sort of train tracks in the atmosphere, pulling away and heading up over to Route 30 in King William County, and the same spot as a potential tornado. And we just showed you, let's arrow back again and show you the differential reflectivity. Again, that same spot is showing something that looks unlike just clouds and rain. And that gives us an idea that maybe there's either a touchdown or it's throwing up some big winds. It potentially is just throwing up big winds, and that would be whipping up So these colors that are different, the yellows and reds, that's right on top of the west end of Henrico County. That's Cherokee Road on one side of the river in northern Chesterfield in the city of Richmond. And it's River Road, which is right here on the north side. So far western side of Henrico County, southwestern side, this is not a Twin Hickory, Knuckles Road kind of thing. This is on the south and eastern side. This is Gaskins right here. That's Parham right here. All of the communities in there. Sleepy Hollow is in there as well. Mayberry Elementary School, the kids should be taking shelter. The First Baptist Church right there on the corner. But River and the north side of the river at Chippenham, we should be taking shelter. And that one is legit. This is very clear. This is the one that we've been tracking the entire time. And we can see this one that is going to be working its way. The tornado warning on that one continues, I think, until 2:45, and it's very clear. So if you are along Route 30, this is Route 30, I think, right here. You have Route 30 in King William County. Anywhere near there, all the neighborhoods near there, and some of these communities may be sort of old communities that aren't a thing, you know, they're just road signs. But Corinth Fork and Enfield and Epworth and Globe, Mango Hick in particular, right in there on Route 30 in the far western and northern portion of King William, please take shelter. This is plain old velocity. Okay. All right, I think Megan's going to step in. And I think we need to make sure in the booth that they know Megan's going to take over. So the camera shot's going to need to change.
And that first tornado warning is looking real nasty now.
Right, that one really looking bad.
Yeah, the circulation is tightened up considerably.
So two areas that we are watching. We have this one that Andrew is just querying for us, getting some data into our system here, and it looks like it is just now entering King William County. So that is just making its way out of Hanover County. It's going to be crossing Route 30 here, and it's moving very quickly. So if you're anywhere near Mango Hick, any of these cities or towns, if you are near 236, put that back up. We've got a Mango Hick in the cone here of this dangerous storm. We do not have confirmation that anything has touched the ground. But if you are in this area, please make sure that you are in your safe place. If you know any of these road names, if you have family in these road names, make sure you give them a call if maybe they're not tuned in here. We have Tuck Fork, we have Shire Lane, we have Globe, Smoky Road, and this is just as you cross over 30 here, Route 30. We have Hardwood Lane, and this is the area we're watching. Whenever you get the tight areas of greens and pinks within this portion of our data, that's a good sign that there's some intense rotation. So we could be seeing, especially now, we're seeing some yellow here. Perhaps some tree limbs are flying or some debris is flying in this area, and it is moving very quickly to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. It is going to make its way into King William County. Again, it is making... It is, yeah, so the higher the number, the more indicative of we're really seeing some strong rotation here. So now we're seeing gate to gate in the 90s. So we're looking at some tighter rotation, a better confirmation that we have a very dangerous storm that is continuing to travel to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. We have two tornado warnings, though, in our area here that we're swinging around. We have one that's very quickly moving out of Chesterfield County, and it looks like it's now entering the western side of Henrico County that is close to River Road. Same areas that we just talked about a half an hour ago. We've got close to Tuckahoe. It looks like it's going right over River Road right now. Close to Derbyshire Road. We've got Glenbrook Hills, and this storm also moving very quickly. We've got the greens and the reds, so that couplet, the winds are turning here, rotating. So that's why we have that tornado warning. So this will continue to move toward the northeast very quickly as well. It's making its way right towards Tuckahoe. So if you're listening and you are in Tuckahoe, you need to make sure that you are in your safe place here. We have a couple of ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings as well. That's the yellow boxes here, and it looks like we have a brand new tornado watch. So this will go until 8 o'clock this evening. Looks like it just about encompasses our whole entire area. So it's not just early this afternoon we'll be watching for the tornado warnings, but this will be an ongoing concern as we go into the early evening time frame as well. Two areas we're watching, though, with the most concern, the two tornado warnings. They go until 2:45 for the one that is making its way through the west end right now, and it'll make its way into the central part of Hanover County. So again, if you are near Tuckahoe, you need to get to your safe place now. Warning goes until 2:45. They're both 2:45 here. So you've got 15 minutes of waiting this storm out, take pillows into a bathroom or a closet that doesn't have any windows, away from the outermost portion of your home. You want to get into a basement if that is something that your home may have. Otherwise, take some pillows, get into the bathroom, and just ride this out with us. We'll get you through it. Again, this is right at Tuckahoe, this particular area of rotation, one of two that we are watching that are tornado warned. Again, moving very quickly to the northeast here. It's going to make a run towards or over I-64. So this is not a time you want to be out on the roads here. You want to make sure that you stay inside in your safe place. And we will watch this as it goes close to Avalon Drive, right into Tuckahoe. And then it'll continue towards the northeast as it makes its way closer to 64. And then eventually it's going to make its way on into Hanover County. So if you live in Hanover County, the central part of Hanover County, you're going to want to get into your safe place in advance if you're in the path of this. If we could put a cone out here for both of these storms, we can get an idea of some times of just how quickly this is going to move into your area. Again, moving to the northeast at 45 to 50 miles per hour. The couplet that we're watching that is right near Tuckahoe, this is where it's going now. 233, if you're in Laurel, you need to be in your safe place. 242, that's Ashland in Hanover County. That gives you about 12 minutes. You need to make sure that you go to your safe place as well. This will cross over I-95 in addition to crossing over I-64. Then it's going to make its way closer to Mangohick, where they're already seeing an additional area of rotation in this part of King William County. This is 253. And then that is going to lift up into, I'd say, King and Queen County, the northern part of King and Queen County, and might even brush here the southeastern corner of Caroline County. So this is the second area of rotation we're watching. We have the one close to Tuckahoe, and we have a second area of strong rotation, still showing a very strong sign of rotation. When you see that pink very close to the red here, that means we've got a very dangerous storm. No confirmation that it is on the ground, but we need to treat it as such and make sure that we do go to our safe place. We've got the northern side of King William County. It'll go up into the northern side of King and Queen County. So areas we need to make sure that we are in our safe place. This is Belulaville at 237. We can get... There we go. We've got Helmet at 245. We've got Central Point at 250. Battery up in King and Queen County will be at 253, so you have about 20 minutes. If you have some family in these areas and you know they might not be near the TV, they might be outside, give them a call. Make sure they're in their safe place. Have them tune on in. If your power does go out, we are streaming online. You can go to our Facebook pages and get all of these updates if you are watching on TV and perhaps your TV power does go out. So again, this is the area we're watching here. Two that Andrew is highlighting for us here. One that is in the west end. That's the first tornado warning storm, goes until 2:45. And then we have the second one here that is in the northern part of King William County. This is right close to Mangohick. Looks like it already crossed over Route 30 here. And it's going to make its way... There we go. It's right close to Globe, if you're familiar with Globe in King William County. This is Route 30 here. It's going to make its way close to Belulaville, and then right at Poplar Hill Road, we've got Newtown Road. And this area is still showing very good signs of rotation here. We want this not to look like this. We want this to try to break apart, but unfortunately we're still seeing some color here of some pink, so still showing some indication of some strong rotation. So Belulaville, as you make your way through the northern parts of King William County, please get in your safe place. It is already past Route 30, so if you are to the south of Route 30 in King William County, you're in the clear here, no problems. It is now to the north of you and going to make its way closer to King and Queen County. See how quickly this storm is racing here. It's moving about 45 to 50 miles per hour. This is the one that we were just tracking that went through Tuckahoe. It's now making its sights closer to Laurel, same areas that we had from the first tornado warning storm, getting impacted or hit again with another storm. You can see our Skycam picture, very ominous picture up above Andrew right now. We've been watching that closely as well to see if we can see any sort of funnel cloud from our Skycam. We have not seen that at this point, but we are still seeing very strong signs of rotation here. This is Megan, now just over 64.
I think maybe this one, the one in Henrico, maybe a little bit less, sort of unwinding a little bit. But the difference in, I mean, when you look at this one up in King William County, I mean, that's just a very clear, you know, tornadic signature. The shear numbers on this are 50, 60 miles an hour versus 30, 40, although hopefully we're seeing the numbers a little bit lower now.
Hopefully, but still pretty
still
decent
there.
rotation.
Absolutely.
If you want to put a tracker on both of these so we can, again, time both of those
Let's
out.
do that the one in King William for you first. You know, and we'll go about 45 or so miles an hour on that one. Megan, I'll let you take over here, and then I'll do some zoom in for you.
So again, these are two different tornado-warned storms. We're starting up in King William County first. It's almost about to go into the northern part of King and Queen County. So if you're in these areas and maybe you were just tuning in, you got a notification from the NBC 12 weather app that we have a tornado that is ongoing. This is what we're watching here. A very strong, tight area of rotation that is moving quickly. So once it passes over your area, it's out of there quick, but you need to make sure you're in your safe place. So this is going towards Helmet at 2:45. Time now is 2:34, so you have about 10 minutes. We've got Battery at 2:52. That is when you enter King and Queen County on the northern side of King and Queen County. Then we go into Carrot, and then at 3:02, we're into Layton. So if this holds together, which hopefully it doesn't, but if it does so, this would take it into the northern part of Essex County. So if you are watching from Essex County, we are concerned with this storm. It's not near you just yet, but you need to make sure that you're aware of this, and we'll certainly keep you posted as it travels quickly. Now, the second storm we're watching, Andrew's been driving well here.
You want to go down to the one down in, this one is looking less intense.
Doesn't look quite as pronounced or as circular, so we're not seeing as strong of rotation. Notice the numbers here Andrew's querying going down some. When those numbers go down, that's not as tight of a rotation. So that's good news that at least spin is unwinding some, so it's not as dangerous. Still, though, producing strong, damaging winds nonetheless, so you want to make sure you stay in your safe place, but it's moving very quickly here. Now moving across 64, and it is going to turn, or not turn, but it's going to continue to move into Hanover County, close to Ashland, and along I-95 here. So you want to make sure if you're in your safe place in these areas. It's just to the north of Laurel. It has its sights on Ashland, close to Doswell. We've got Kings Dominion in this area, and both of these still ongoing tornado warnings until 2:45.
And a quick note, Megan, I want to throw a quick note here. Even though there's a tornado warning ongoing, and you may see it on your phone, northern Chesterfield, west side of the city, and western Henrico, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but the concern level is basically west of Gaskins and including all of western Henrico and northern Chesterfield, the concern level is super low. This is back on top of now Virginia Center comments. That one, and that's racing out of Henrico and heading over to the exact same spots, maybe a little bit farther west, maybe more Ashland versus Atlee. So in Ashland, which is right here, 54 and Route 1, I would be getting into my safe spot right now. And the map we're showing, Megan, you explained this differential reflectivity that we're showing.
Yeah, so whenever we look at these colors, it just shows us where the tightening of the rotating storms is, or perhaps where we could see some debris flying around. And in that case, you need to get into your safe place because we are seeing areas here with that yellow and orange look to it. So that's why it's so important to take these seriously. Just get into your interior-most portion of your home, take some pillows, stay away from windows. We've got a lot of rain that's falling here as well. I do want to point that out. The radar picture is dumping rain, so you're not going to see this necessarily when you look out the window. Here's a look at the tornado warned storm. We don't have confirmation.
It just extended that one up all the way to the Potomac River, Megan.
Wow, so this is the one we've been tracking, still moving to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. We have that still strong signs of rotation, so at this point now, Essex is included. We had just mentioned to you not too long ago, and this will go until 3 o'clock. So at this point, the storm is moving at 60 miles per hour. So this is a very fast-moving storm. But if you're in Newtown or St. Stephen's Church, you need to get into your safe place at this point. We have Montrose as well. It'll be near you at about 3 o'clock. So that's heading up towards the northern neck. Northern Essex County, Richmond County, into Northumberland County. These areas now, we need to make sure that we're in our safe place. I'll step out here. Nick, do you want to show us the latest that you have?
Yes. In fact, if the TMP control can switch over to Weather 2 briefly here. We'll go right back to Weather 1 in a moment, but this is a picture we just got in from actually our transmitter site out in King William County. You can see this is that storm we've been talking about. Megan was just talking about the rotation being really pronounced, really tight out toward portions of King William County, and you can see here what looks like, at the very least, it's a wall cloud, a low-hanging cloud, potentially a funnel cloud. Hard to tell because of those trees kind of obscuring the horizon. But this is what we just saw about 10, 15 minutes ago in King William County when that rotation was really strong, and we had big-time concern a few minutes ago for areas moving out of Hanover County into King William. Now we can go back to the other weather computer.
And Nick, real quick, I have a friend who's a teacher in Powhatan, and it appears as if they are huddled in their safe space in Powhatan. So maybe we can reset and talk, as Nick is a bigger-than-life personality, reset and talk about the areas where you're not under a tornado warning. There's nothing in Powhatan that would indicate that there's a tornado near you. The Chesterfield now, for the most part, is there's little or no concern. This is the west end of Henrico, stretching all the way up to the Potomac River and almost up into Colonial Beach. And that said, this one is going to be allowed to expire. It's a little bit confusing, but that last one you see, sort of the bottom one, is going to be allowed to expire. So I guess maybe, Nick, I'm asking if you could kind of walk people through the areas that are out of the concern, and I'll try to put a little tick mark next to where there is some rotation.
Absolutely, Andrew. And I think what may have happened out in Powhatan, you say people were huddled in their closets at the school. We got a tornado watch issued for most of the NBC 12 viewing area. That does include Powhatan. So if you got an alert on your phone, it says tornado watch. That just means conditions are favorable for the possibility of a few tornadoes over the next several hours. That's not nearly as urgent. You don't need to seek shelter if you're just only in a tornado watch. We have tornado warnings, however, off to the north and east of Richmond. Those are the locations where we have rotation indicated on radar right now, and you need to be in your safe place. So again, tornado warnings are what we're really concerned about here in the immediate future, which does include now extending all the way up through the northern neck up toward the Potomac River. This includes Westmoreland County, Essex County, Richmond County, and where that rotation is right now, it just crossed into King and Queen County, and you can still see a pretty well-defined what we call couplet. What we're looking at here are the winds within the storm. Red indicates winds going one direction, green indicates winds going another direction, and when you see those really bright and close together, that's the tight rotation that we're seeing on the radar, which could indicate either a funnel cloud or a tornado. So again, if you're in King William County, actually King William, you're now in the clear as this rotation is moving off to your north and east. And that rotation is moving now into King and Queen County, about to move into Essex County. So the northwestern portion of King and Queen County, right near the Indian Neck area, in the Helmet area, you want to be in your safe place. This is crossing right over Poplar Hill Road, Newtown Road. If you're in any of these roads here that you see popping up on your screen, you have no time left. You need to be in your safe place, in an interior room or a basement. The tornado is about to, or a potential tornado is about to cross right over you. We have not had any reports of a tornado on the ground, but you can see that well-defined rotation on our first alert Doppler radar, and that's why we have this tornado warning that's in effect for King and Queen County, now lifting out of King William County. I'd say the concern level has dropped for the immediate future in King William. Now it's more in the King and Queen, pretty quickly going to move into Essex County. These are pretty narrow counties once you get up toward King and Queen and Essex, so quickly that storm is going to race off to the north and east. We do have a second area of rotation just to the south of the Ashland area. That's going to move off to the north and east here pretty quickly. That's the one that was near Virginia Center Commons a few minutes ago. Now it is about to cross I-95. This one's not as well defined as the other storm that's farther off to the north and east, but there is still some rotation here, and you do have a tornado warning in effect, so we still want to take this seriously and be in our safe place if you are watching from portions of Hanover County, extending into southeastern portions of Caroline County and the northwestern portion of King William County. Then again, this second storm, we can still see a fairly well-defined rotation couplet there. It's not as serious looking as it was maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago. These storms tend to what we call cycle. They'll get a little bit stronger and then a little bit weaker and then potentially stronger again. So that's why if you're in these locations, you definitely still need to be in your safe place. We're still seeing some of that rotation on the velocity image that you just saw pop up on your screen briefly. So again, we have several tornado warnings in effect north and northeast of Richmond, Places that are included in that tornado warning include Caroline, really the southeastern corner of Caroline County. If you're up toward the Bowling Green area, this is going to be to your south and east. Essex County, Richmond County, Westmoreland County, that warning goes into effect until 3 p.m. And we'll be on here on NBC 12 tracking these storms for as long as we have tornado warnings, at least until 3 o'clock this afternoon as these storms make their way across the area. And then
sorry, a quick note again to reset. Western Henrico County, it says on your phone that you're still under a tornado warning. We're not as worried anymore. We're not really that worried as of now in the city of Richmond. Something may come back in the next few hours or so. And also northern Chesterfield. These areas here are now on the backside. The storm has sort of passed you by. And I think, you know, it's interesting. I got that text message that I got from my friend who's a teacher in Powhatan County. It sort of makes you realize, okay, we need to maybe make sure that we're alerting people to the areas where you can drive. My wife just said, hey, texted me. She said, can I drive to pick up our son? And where she is, she's okay.
Yep.
And so really quick, let's set the stage for these warnings again. What do we have, a minute here before the warning goes away, and I'll leave this on. So we anticipate that, I know there's a lot on that map, but we anticipate, Nick, take us through the ones that we think are going to keep going. And
the biggest concern right now is really shifting into the northern neck, not so much for Metro Richmond. In fact, if you're anywhere south and west of Richmond, Chesterfield, you were under a tornado warning earlier, you're pretty much in the clear for the time being. Not for the rest of the evening. We could still see additional storms trying to spin up a little bit later on. But right now, the main focus has shifted north and east. Notice on the velocity there, there's really not a whole lot happening in Chesterfield County.
It looks like it's unwound.
Yep, and same goes for this other little storm that we've been tracking in portions of Hanover County. Now that has really weakened. We're not seeing the dark greens anymore. You need both green and red here on the velocity plot to have a tornado, and we're not seeing that right now in Hanover County.
Nick, I'm going to go through the elevations and see if there's, I mean, I'm going up to a couple degrees and you don't.
There's really not much left there, so that's great news.
Good feelings about Hanover.
Exactly. If you're into the Ashland area, you can probably come out of your safe place pretty shortly. Let that tornado warning expire first. We want to take that seriously just in case it does strengthen again. But things are getting a little better now in Hanover. And even the second area of rotation, earlier it was one of the strongest rotation couplets I've seen in a while. I would be surprised if there wasn't a little bit of damage.
Okay, so there's the
King William, but it's
reset the warnings for us, Nick.
It's not as strong as it was earlier. We have this tornado warning now extending into the northern neck, and we have this one warning in effect until 3 p.m. The other tornado warnings that were in effect closer to the city of Richmond, those have been allowed to expire at 2:45.
And then we drive home a point here. Schools letting out now, right? And people are getting on the bus and they're going to pick up kids, etc. In the immediate metro area, Hanover County, Henrico, the city, Chesterfield, Tri-Cities, etc., you're not under a warning of any sort. So watch is that big area, that huge area of red, which means conditions are ripe. We might get a tornado warning. So we think safely, other than heavy rain, we think safely you can commute where you need to be commuting. This tornado warning still on the northern neck, or heading to the northern neck, plus a severe thunderstorm warning, which we shouldn't entirely ignore, that's occurring down south of town.
And there may be a little bit of rotation with this one as well. Any of these storms today, because we have so much what we call wind shear, which is just the changing of wind with height in the atmosphere. You get that spinning motion, that could cause a tornado. So any of these storms that have any severe thunderstorm warnings, they could potentially put down a tornado. So we have to pay attention, be weather aware for the rest of the afternoon. We're going to have these conditions around for at least a few more hours that will be conducive for the possibility of tornadoes. That's why we have that watch. A watch just means stay weather aware, have a way to get a warning if we have any warnings issued a little bit later on. We're continuing to track this one tornado warning, which again is when you need to take shelter. That's what a tornado warning means in the lowest floor of your home. This tornado warning extending now into portions of King and Queen County pretty shortly. We have some rotation still showing up right near the Mount Landing Road area. If you're in Mount Landing Road, you want to be in your safe place right now. Thankfully, this rotation is not as serious looking as it was earlier.
Yeah, moving out of King and Queen into Essex County right now.
Yep, moving out of King and Queen, about to move into Essex County. That just goes to show how quickly these storms are moving. A minute ago, we were talking about how it was entering King and Queen. Now it's lifting out of King and Queen and about to move into Essex County. So if you're in the Champlain area, right along Lloyd's Road, Route 17, you want to be in your safe place. And sometimes as these storms lift into the northern neck, we talked about this earlier, it's getting farther away from the radar site, so it's a little harder to see that rotation within the storm. So just because it looks a little less serious on radar doesn't mean we're in the clear. We still want you to be in your safe place if you're watching from Essex County, stretching pretty soon up toward Westmoreland County. Out of an abundance of caution here, as we have a tornado warning in effect until 3 p.m. That does include the Montrose area. And then we have more in terms of just steady rains. Nothing that's immediately alarming down toward Chesterfield.
Lightning. I've got lightning on the map. Have we had any? We don't think we've had any.
Not much. This is
lightning tracker's on, and we got nothing.
This is one of those days where there's just that spin in the atmosphere, but not a lot of ingredients for lightning per se. And we haven't really seen any reports of hail, as far as I can tell, either. It's really just at this point been a tornado threat so far this afternoon, along with potentially some gusty winds within those storms. So we continue to track this one cell up toward the Battery area. As we look at this, we're not seeing those bright greens anymore. So again, this is becoming a little bit less of a serious concern. It is still something we need to take seriously. As we look over on the velocity plot, you can see that
this is the differential reflectivity.
Differential reflectivity.
Banner,
yep, differential reflectivity.
It's up
you can
here,
see some signs of possible rotation near the Battery area. So again, you still want to be in your safe place if you're up here, right along Route 17. It's about to cross Route 17, pushing into the northwestern corner of Richmond County and then up toward Westmoreland County near the Montrose area. I would say just because of how fast this storm is moving, if you're in Montrose, you want to be in your safe place now. Wait for that storm to pass once we get past 3 o'clock, because between now and 3, this storm is going to continue to race to the north and east.
It's a tornado warning that includes a whole bunch of counties lined up. And again, we've done this several times today. We want to give you the information to sort of where you're clear, the counties where the storm has passed you by. This is King William County, and King and Queen is right here. So if you're in King and Queen, and Nick was telling you earlier, King and Queen County in these areas to sort of take shelter. Okay, I was literally about to say you're safe, and they've cut those counties off now. So if in King William and King and Queen County, you're no longer part of that tornado warning. We're thinking alike. We're thinking here at NBC 12 like the Weather Service is. They want to make sure that you're not, everybody's locking down everything, because there's just this one now tornado warning left. And Nick, it'll take me a second to reset it. Just one left. Mm-hmm. And again, that severe thunderstorm warning for those of you in southern Greensville County heading up to Wakefield. There's the spin, though. It's pulling away from Tappahannock and heading up into Westmoreland County. This is the Potomac River, by the way, up here.
Yep, we continue to track this one tornado warning. That's the immediate concern, along with the severe thunderstorm warning. If you're in southern portions of Sussex County, Emporia, Greensville County, you want to be taking shelter as well, because there could be some strong winds with this second severe thunderstorm warning to the south and east of Emporia. Looks like the strongest part of that storm is actually in Southampton County, but there may be some strong winds in Sussex as well. So southern and southeastern portions of Sussex County, you want to be indoors in an interior room, just, again, out of an abundance of caution with the potential for some strong winds there. Farther to the west, this is just general rain making its way across Nottoway, Amelia County. And so the immediate concern for any sort of severe weather farther west in Blackstone, you're probably not going to have to worry about that here for at least the next 30 to 40 minutes.
Megan, are you still mic'd up? And Nick? I don't think, I just had a note that came in. Do we have any reports? We still haven't seen any reports of any damage, even though we were seeing stuff on what we call differential reflectivity. So stuff may have been flying around, and it could have just been big winds, and it could have been, rain going in all kinds of different directions. But as of now, even though we very clearly, what's that, Megan?
There was one report that we got so far from Nottoway County. It might take a little bit for people to go out and see, but there were 2 trees down reported in Nottoway. Okay. But apart from that, we've not received any other reports.
That would be, it's rare for us to very clearly see on radar just that there's something up there, that there's something rotating. And speaking of which, as this crosses 17 right now in Essex County, doesn't this look a whole lot weaker?
It does. We've been talking about how it's had this weakening trend over the last few minutes. This is not as serious of a situation as it was 15 or 20 minutes ago. As it was crossing through King William County, this storm was a lot stronger than it is now, at least based on what we're seeing on radar. So we still want you in your safe place if you're watching from portions of Richmond County. Again, this is Richmond County, not the city, up to the north and east of Richmond. It's about to stretch into portions of Westmoreland County. That's that one tornado warning we have until 3 p.m. So 8 more minutes of that warning before it is allowed to expire. The rest of our viewing area in what we call a tornado watch, which just means we're watching for the potential of a few additional stronger severe storms and maybe 1 or 2 more tornado warnings later on today. That goes until 8 o'clock this evening. So anywhere within this red shading, we have the possibility for additional storms that could become stronger severe later.
Nick, I sent the world's worst tweet out right before these tornado warnings. And I said, this rain that's moving in, we had a bunch of rain that moved in right around midday. I said, I think this might stabilize the atmosphere a little bit and hopefully lessen our severe threat. Now, we have not had any big towering thunderstorms with hail or lightning or any of that. But the part of it where I said, I hope it doesn't, I hope it, you know, sort of tamps down our severe threat, that did not age well because we still had enough rotation as winds were screaming at elevation, able to get these to start spinning, but there really wasn't much vertical development. And hopefully maybe that's one of the reasons why we didn't have these big downdrafts and didn't pull this thing down to the ground. So our hope is that everybody's okay out there. And even as we are under this tornado watch for the rest of the evening, basically through 8 o'clock, and I need to move this out of the way so we can see, yeah, and we still have that one tornado warning. This is north of you. It sort of hit me earlier when I was talking to a teacher friend of mine in Powhatan. It hit me earlier that we needed to talk a lot about who does not need to have a big concern. Along 360 as you head to Warsaw, and then as 360 cuts to the right and works its way down toward Reedville on the northern neck and up into Northumberland County, you're in the clear here. This is Coles Point. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I apologize. Kuriaman Landing, Baynesville, Nashtown. On the northern, this is sort of Route 17 and north. That's where we still have that tornado warning. However, we also don't think that this has got as big of a rotation as it once did. And so our expectation is that the National Weather Service, unless they can see something that we're missing, either early or at 3 o'clock, they'll just kind of let this run its course. Let me go back one more time and look at where the tornado warning is. Again, that's one tornado warning. All right, let's set the stage here. Tornado watch box in this huge area until 8 o'clock tonight. But as you can see, if you're in Petersburg, if you're in Richmond, vast majority of our viewers are not under a tornado warning. We had an urban tornado warning that came from Chesterfield County through the west end of Henrico and went up basically right through central Hanover County. There are a ton of people that we were shouting out names and neighborhoods and hoping that you basically took shelter. And now we have one left. We don't think it's rotating as much. Now, keep in mind the radar site's all the way down here in Wakefield. So one of the things that may be going on is that the radar site is 75 miles away, basically, from where that tornado warning is. So there's the potential that maybe the radar beam is shooting over the top of the rotation. So they're still holding on to that one until 3 o'clock, but then it moves over the Potomac River and moves out of our viewing area. So that's the one sort of game in town. And if you are at home and you're waiting for the kids to get off that school bus and you have a high level of concern of if they are safe, we think they're safe. They're going to get wet. A lot of them are going to get rained on. But as you look at the radar picture, and I'll put it into motion here, we have seen no lightning with this system. We don't think we've got enough rain for flash flooding out of this. The one concern is some of these funnel clouds. There was basically two distinct funnel clouds. One of them has fallen apart in Hanover County. The other one is still holding together, moving from Essex County up into Richmond County and Westmoreland County. Those are the three counties that are under that tornado warning until 3 o'clock. But everybody else, you have, we think, wet roads, but relatively safe commuting. And so we're feeling relatively good about that, save for this one severe thunderstorm warning that could produce some damaging wind. It's actually an interesting terminology. The National Weather Service calls these severe thunderstorm warnings. And more accurately, in this situation, it might be better to call it, it's not a thing, but like a gusty, an extra strong rain shower, because there is no thunder and there is no lightning with this. This is all wind-driven. And so there's a quick burst of heavy rain that's going over Druryville right now, but we don't have thunder and lightning that you typically would associate with a severe thunderstorm warning. I think Megan is going to head up over into the screen. But Megan, we are having a hard time. Again, it's 70, 80 miles away from the radar site, but we're having a hard time finding that rotation now as that moves to the northern neck. Are you going to show us that picture, or is that coming later?
If you follow me on Twitter, I just posted it there. We have, when the tornado warned storm went over Glen Allen, I got a picture sent to me on Instagram. I'll pull that up during the 4 o'clock news if we can't get that on now. It is a very defined, what looks like a funnel cloud. Certainly no confirmation of such, but always appreciate photos that you can tag us in so we can see what you're seeing, only if you can do so safely. If we're telling you, of course, to get in your safe place, please don't go out to a window to try to get these pictures.
Megan, I've got it up for you here. Hopefully it should show up in a second.
There we go. Thank you, Andrew. So this was the picture that I just got a couple of minutes ago. It was at Woodman and Mountain Road in Glen Allen here. Just tweeted this out. You can see here a possible funnel cloud that was moving over Glen Allen as some workers were just out. Captured that picture for me. I believe it was John Boy 90 who got that for me. Always appreciate pictures when you can do so safely. So if you want to see a closer look of that, we have that up on social media. And we are still watching.
That looks really legit. That was what we were tracking in the exact spot we were tracking.
Where we had that tight rotation that we were getting you through as it went out of the west end and moved into areas of Hanover County. So that was that storm. So wide view here, it's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We've still got a lot of colors. The big red box that is highlighted for just about our entire area is a tornado watch that goes until 8 o'clock. Difference between that watch and warning is the watch is we'll be watching until 8 o'clock. There's nothing active in the big, huge red box except one tornado warned storm that we are hoping is still unraveling, still not showing strong signs of rotation as it makes its way out of Essex County and up towards portions of the northern neck. Goes for a couple of minutes, so we will continue to watch this. The areas in the northern neck include Richmond County and also Westmoreland County. So we will watch this closely. This is the same storm that went through the northern part of King William County, King and Queen County, most of Essex County. When you were watching, or if you were watching, it really showed that strong sign of rotation. The greens and the reds with the pink was really very defined. Now when we look at it, we're not picking up on it. So for us here, that's a pretty good sign that we're not seeing a very dangerous storm anymore. But still, don't put your guard down for areas like Newland, Baynesville, up into the northern neck, again, Richmond and Westmoreland counties.
So I think 17 is probably clear.
Yes.
In Essex County.
Right, so if anyone in Essex County, if you're watching, not just because it's not showing signs of rotation, still could easily produce some strong gusty winds, if not damaging winds. So you don't want to be outside, but the tornadic look of this storm is no longer in Essex County, and it is now making its way with the heaviest rain as well, moving out of Essex into the northern part.
Up to Montrose, basically Westmoreland County, yeah, is where it's headed. Let's leave it on this picture here, Megan, and I'll make sure. I was going to say, let's watch it go away.
Hey.
So there we go. The tornado warning is over. Now there are no active tornado warnings, and Nick's been watching the radar. I think Nick was talking to a producer, if you heard his mic open there. The producers are getting ready for our 4 o'clock program, but we've been tracking this all...
You want to put it on the radar just so we can do a final, just for everyone who was not impacted. I do just want to show you areas that are still raining, but nothing active as far as tornado warnings. Still can't rule out some gusty winds the remainder of the day. Here's a look at a couple of reports that we've got. Again, trees down in Nottoway County. We've had a couple of reports of funnel clouds. So we'll continue to watch the reports come in. I'm sure more will over the next several hours. And if we can look at the radar and just see what we're dealing with at this point. Still raining, especially south of town and east of town. You can see some yellows here east of I-95. So some steady rain continues to fall from New Kent, Charles City County, Prince George County, Sussex County, seeing a decent amount of rain. Green here, lighter rain. So it's just raining from Powhatan, Amelia, Nottoway down towards Lunenburg County. We'll continue to watch, though. The front hasn't made its way through the area yet, but hopefully with the rain that's falling now will help stabilize us a bit. But remember, that tornado watch goes until 8 tonight, so conditions are still favorable that we could still see some strong to severe storms as we make our way into the early evening time frame. So we will be here. We will continue to watch the radar picture, and we will keep you...
Let's hit this one again. And Meg, your specific Twitter, if people want to see this, it's Meg Wise NBC12, is that right?
Yes.
So you can zoom in on this. And this was sent in, I think, from the west end of Henrico near Woodman and 295, or...
Yes, it's in Glen Allen. This was a picture sent in to me.
Right near Hanover, basically.
Yes.
And that was, if that's legit, and it looks legit, it seems about right, that was basically where we were tracking that system that formed in Chesterfield near Brandon Mill and then went all the way, raced up all the way, through Atlee. But that's impressive, and that's at Meg Wise, NBC12.
Yeah, very impressive. I did send out a message to the person who did send that to me just to see how the area was doing, and I haven't gotten a response just yet. But again, this is the active warnings. There is a severe thunderstorm warning that is down towards Wakefield. This is Sussex County and in the southeastern corner of our state. But we have no active tornado warnings. That's the takeaway. As of 3 o'clock this afternoon, nothing active, but we do have that tornado watch. You can see the bottom of your screen there. It says until 8 o'clock. So we will continue to watch the remainder of the afternoon and into the early evening. We do still have that potential for a couple more strong to severe storms as the actual front moves through the area. And then after about 10, 11 o'clock, I really think this threat really diminishes, and we're looking much quieter from here on out. And we will have more news and weather, of course, coverage when you join us at 4 o'clock. We'll be there until 6:30 this evening. Have a great rest of your afternoon.